If you like AI and AI automations, then I'm going to show you something super exciting exactly like this. Now, you would have heard the term RAG before. You might have tried to set it up and ran into a couple of problems, all connected it to N8N and workflows and chatbots, and realized that this knowledge-based system just does not perform as well and as good as what it should. Now, that's where graph ragging come in. Now, we're going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to upload all of these Alex Hormozi's latest books into it, and we'll be able to build a microsas from it later on, but you'll be able to connect it into N8N, and it's going to be all on the same hosted device. And I'm going to show you how to, in one click, launch your own AI server with N8N and LightRAG into it. And I'm going to give you all the config files that goes with it. So my name is Altus. If you haven't watched my other videos, you know I run my own AI agency and my own community where I help people give away free high level exactly like this. Lots of systems, lots of teachings in there. So you can have your own AI agency, jump on this AI gold bandwagon and actually start making money with AI as well. And things like ragging, graph ragging, N8N is especially important when you're going to start your own business and sell this as a product. So this is going to be very important steps in here. And of course, I'm going to give you all the config files at the end to download and use. It's going to be super easy, super drummed down, and you're going to definitely learn and be able to follow along and have a system like this where you can upload anything. One click of a button, upload, it takes it into a RAG system like this, a graph ragging system. I almost said a vector ragging system. No, it's not vectorizing, it's graph ragging because it looks cool and awesome like this and it actually means something. You're going to learn a lot. So have fun, sit down, and let's get into this awesome part. I don't want to go on too much about RAG. You can look up in other videos or other documentation if you really want to understand deeper what it is. I'm just going to quickly skim over it, but RAG comes back to the retrieval and augmentation of information. And what it is when you have a large knowledge base with a large amount of characters, you can't just feed, or you should not, you can, but you can't just feed that to your large language module every single time you have a question. So imagine you have one PDF worth of documentation, and that's going to be part of your system prompt saying, you are the owner for XX business. This is our policy terms and conditions. And it might be multiple pages of it. Now, if you're going to do an about section of a business, then that's fine because it's only going to be a couple of characters, and characters resolves to tokens. But when you have multiple bits of information, you don't just want to feed that to your large language module every time, because number one, it's going to be slow and painful, but it's also going to cost you a lot of money because every time you feed all those system prompt / user prompts, it's going to cost you a lot of tokens. So I just quickly jump over to OpenRouter, and here they're really good at explaining your token lengths. And Gemini, some of the biggest ones in here. Google has some of the bigger token sizes in here, but you can see once it charges you per input and output tokens, you're going to start paying obviously for it. And you can see how big the input tokens per million tokens are and output tokens per million tokens. And the large language models are growing, and those token sizes are going up. And there's a thing called I think it's called cache rag, which means if you feed it in for once, it's going to cache some of that information in the background for you, but it has a timeout. So you shouldn't be doing it. So it all comes down to having a large knowledge base, and that's when we take our knowledge base, and let's just consider it's one big giant PDF or multiple PDFs for it. What ragging does and vectorizing does is it takes that information, puts it out in chunks. So if you have a let's just say 100 pages, or let's just say 10 pages to make it easy, and you're going to chunk that out into 5 bits. Page 1 and 2 is going to be chunk 1, 2 and 3 next chunk, 3 and 4 next jump. So it goes through in chunking, and it layers it all in together. Now when you ask a question, you need to have a kind of a system, a large language module kind of system that goes through, it kind of finds whereabouts the best information can be within your group of chunks, then finds that chunk, sends that information back to your large language module, and then it generate part, retrieve, augmented, generate you an answer. Now, in the basics of forms, it sounds easy and kind of makes sense, but when you have multiple documents, um, the hallucination bits of large language modules gets a little bit confusing, and your actual chunking in systems and there's different type of rags, agentic rags, can get a little bit confused because if the information is in part one, and there's overlapping, you can sometimes miss things out as well. So there is just all the better chance for hallucination, especially when you deal with multiple things and more complexity of things. And even worse when you're going to start dealing with things like just normal PDFs, then you're going to start dealing with things like databases and Excel sheets or something with numbers in there. If you're going to ask for a total, then it's going to have to read all of that and figure out the total. So just really painful how this can go along sometimes. So ragging can be really hard, can be really confusing, and I take all these from other people, but here's kind of the chunking bits that I mean. There's always going to be a bit of overlap in there as well. Um, and you're starting to get the agentic rag. So as large language models grows, ragging systems go as well. So it's forever revolving system, forever revolving problem that everyone is trying to solve to the best with the power of large language modules, which brings us to knowledge base rag. So it's called vectorize. Vectorizing just means we're taking our documents and putting it into a database, and you have chunks of characters, token sizes that it puts into there. Obviously, the bigger the size, the slower it gets and the more expensive it's, and so far and so on. But this is where um, knowledge graphs come on. Knowledge graphs has the ability, and forgive my ear, I'll get to Kevin Bacon really soon. It's just to add a little bit of extra information within there. It just means that once we have all the knowledge graph RAG system is going to form relationships to different chunks as such. So normal a normal ragging module will just have the overlapping systems to it, and there might be parts of it that's linked into it. Um, However, there's not relationships. All right, that's kind of the big words. The relationships into it. You can see here for team beta is going to be part of this team, is going to be part of this team. This team is going to be part of this team. So ultimately, if you say, if you ask something is team alpha has a score of 1, 2, 3, 4. How does that compare with team beta? And it will link it all up to Olivia being part of both, right? So something like that, for example. And there's a really good document in other videos that has the Kevin Bacon thing in here. Gotta love all Kevin Bacon. There's probably not the best quality image I have, but if you would just normally chunk out Kevin in there, you won't be able to say that, well, actually, he has that 2 degrees of separation linked to George Clooney via Julia Roberts in what movie, for example. All right. So um, that's just the basis of doing RAG and what RAG is. Now, there's a lot of different RAG systems out there. They are becoming a little bit popular. And it's kind of like if something looks cool, it is going to be cool, and therefore it's going to get used a lot. And it's like big workflow. So if you've seen those, you can even just go Google up. Where's our Google? And I'll tell you why. Probably one of the bigger parts of this is why people like this. If you even just Google N8N, you'll see all these fancy workflows, but you'll see big ones like this, and people be like, "Oh yeah, complex. I like this. I want it." All right. So this is what your graph rag would look like. So kind of looks nice like a Happy Meal in there, but it actually works really well, and I'm going to show you how to set it up through the whole system. It's going to be cool. It's going to be a really cool tutorial. You're going to learn self-hosting in here. Actually, you're going to learn how to self-host. We're going to learn how to set up N8N easy, super fast. Then we're going to learn how to, on your actual hosting platform, load up your own graph ragging system. You can see graph rags. Microsoft obviously has their own system in here, which is expensive, but oh, that looks cool. So people like that kind of things, but it actually works really well just simply because of the relationships that it forms in between. And we are going to use Alex Hormozi for this because I have his free books. And what we're going to be able to do is upload all these books together. I should move my head out. Move my head out the way a little bit. We'll be able to upload all these books together and form some relationships into it. So we'll be able to have the book and the information. If you haven't read the books, there's some core principles and concepts that gets mentioned and then can be linked into the book as well. But we'll be able to link things up together, and ultimately we're going to build a little SaaS out first, but not in this video. But I'm going to show you how to upload this graph ragged so it actually looks kind of like this in here. I'll move my lovely head out the way again. It will ultimately go out and look like this, where we have our graph rack system where things are going to be connected into multiple levels. Like in here, Grand Slam offer, you can see how it's all connected to different areas into the different books. So it's a massive RAG system built out with LightRAG, which is the system we're going to use. I'm going to show you how to do it, install it. That is free. We are going to go for N8N stuff, and you're going to have to pay a little bit for N8N if you don't have it already, but LightRAG is free. You're going to really learn a lot from here. So let's get into the technical bits and size of this, and it's going to be super fun and exciting. Now, a couple of things that's really important that we just quickly need to understand at the start. You're going to need N8N. However, N8N, you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay if you're going to come on their website and use it. It's $26 a month for it. And there's some limitations to it. If you are going to sell this as a service, AI automation specialist and so on, or your own AI agency for it, then you can self-host it. But remember, there's a licensing fee that needs to be paid as well at the end of the day if you're going to self-host it. However, if you are going to be a consultant and you are going to give a business their own VPS, so their own virtual machine with N8N hosted on it to complete on their own servers without making a profit from it, then you can do so. And a really great company that does that is Hostinger. So Hostinger hosts virtual machines, so they have the really good hardware, and they have a whole data infrastructure set up. It's really secure, it's scalable. Privacy and security is really important for them. There's all the policies is really built in here, and they have a really great infrastructure. But besides the really great infrastructure, they have this one-click N8N set up ready to go, so you don't have to worry about how to install N8N. It's literally just one click, and we're going to go through the entire process right now. I'll show you how it works. But if you come to their website, go to services, and in the drop down here, N8N, you can see it's really popular. N8N is really popular at the moment. You'll come to this menu and you'll see the KVM2 machine comes preloaded with a Linux operating system and N8N. And what makes this really good as well is you actually get full root access. Now, if you don't know Linux, you don't know commands, root access means that we can also install other things to it, do other things to this system as well. So we'll go through it. You can read through it. And the really actually cool thing is there's the Kobe button down here. I don't know if you can see it, but it actually comes along in your platform as well. So once you are on the platform, you can ask this AI assistant things as well. So it's really good. Backups, privacy, good hardware, good pricing. So I really do suggest you use it. And of course, I'm going to have a discount code as well. So how do we set it up? You're going to come through here, come to services, and then choose your plan. Really use this one. If hardware is not, you don't know what CPUs and gigs and RAMs and things are, and there's a reason this one is highlighted, it's because it's really good. But you have a really good core computing. So you pay for computing power, and $7 a month is really good. So in a real world example, you're going to take one of these, you are going to set that up for your client, and it's going to be their device that does automations for them. So it kind of gets around a little bit with the technicalities of the licensing fees on it. So if you don't know anything, you can read through it. There's a bunch of other cool stuff for it. You can see it's really great. You can see the VPSs. You can read about the AI assistant. But let's get this up and running. So you're going to go and choose your plan. Now you're going to get presented with a screen exactly like this. Now, if you're going to set this up for the first time for yourself or for your clients, make sure you use the 24-month discount. Now you get $264 off. Why would you say no to it? If I want to say I'm going to give you $264, why would you say no? So get that for yourself if you need to. You're going to use it anyway for this time, so you might as well save while using it. Now I already have this set up for myself. Of course, I'm only going to select the 1 month version in here, and you'll be able to see what it costs in a month. Now I have a discount code that's going to save you an extra couple of dollars off for it, and I'll show you where to put it on down here. Now if we just scroll down, if if you're going to use this for yourself, you want to have the backups, especially if you're starting out. You're going to mess things up. You're going to break things. You're going to fiddle with the back end because we have that power. So use the backups, especially if you're going to use this for a client. They need backed up data for it. Make sure you tick that backup in there. Really important. Now, this should auto select. This is just where the server location is. Don't worry too much about that. Um, it's just closest to where you are. Next, we're going to select N8N, and our N8N actually loads Ubuntu in there anyway. We'll show you how to connect to that in Linux. Just make sure continue. So this is great. So it's going to load that up for us for ourselves. Now, when you're going to do this, use this extra code in here. I'll paste it in here. And it won't work for me because I can't have discount on my own stuff that I'm going to buy. It's just not how it works. Coupon codes, discount code for you in here. Now, you'll save a couple of dollars off a month. Go try that. You'll see you're already saving, and you're going to save an extra bonus more. Really nice surprise that's going to come in here. Really go try that, and you'll see. So, I'll just take this one out, hit that delete button in there, and we're going to go through and we're going to buy this instance. Now, once you put your credit card details in there, it's going to buy the instance for you, and we're going to start getting into the setup process. Now, first thing you're going to get prompted to do is set up your root password. So, what is root? Root is the admin user that we're going to use to connect into the back end to it. Now, if it doesn't make sense, don't worry about it. We just need to select the password. The username is going to be root, and the password we'll give it to you very soon. But do yourself a favor. Open a notepad. We're going to use this a lot. Open a notepad, somewhere a plain text editor. And what we're going to do is, as you can see, if you type it in, it will tell you what you need to use. So I'm going to do this one in here, what I usually use. And that's kind of what password should look like. Anyway, a bit complicates. And that, make sure you have it good in here, and then go through and add your password in here, saved up somewhere else for you. So we'll hit that in there, and then we're going to hit the next button. Now, when it's spinning up your instance, it's going to take a while because obviously it needs to load the operating system. It fixes the dashboard. It loads up N8N. So let's just go through in here and we'll go finish setup. So this is the screen that you'll see. So it's going to take a couple of minutes to load up. Won't be too long, but it builds your virtual machine within the cloud. So really good, easy done. The one click N8N thing is really big. If you've ever installed N8N on your own server, you'll know there's some steps to go through. It's not really hard. It can get hard if you're not technical. So we'll give this some time, and we'll come back when this is done. All right, after a couple of minutes, you'll get presented with this screen. Now, again, a couple of things we need to save, and this is the little thing down here, which shows your external IP address, and it's actually got the little copy button in here. So make sure you copy it, because it might not make sense, but this is the actual Linux command to log in, and we're going to use a program called Putty to log in, but we will get through there. So once you're done in here, hit that manage your VPS. And here we go. It's loaded in, loaded up. ready to go. So you can go over it. Lots of little configs in here, renaming it, giving it different names, changing operating systems, firewall rules. And we're going to get through a couple of these things. But the important part is here, getting that external IP address and the fact that N8N is already loaded onto it. Now, watch how easy this is. Manage app. That is it. This is your N8N loaded. So just log into it. So, all right, first we're going to register it, right? So I'm going to say admin. I'll just put my proper email because I think it does a confirmation email for it as well. And we're going to just use the same password from that we have. And I'm going to copy this, paste that one in there. No, I do not want to do any of that. And cool, done, in, ready. Let's just get started in here. Don't need to do that. Skip that part in there. You can have it. But there you go. N8N loaded, super easy, super fast. Got it up, got it running. Add anything you want, build anything you want. You got the community nodes you can add into it. And it's really as super easy as that with Hostinger. So really think it's really cool the fact that they do that and the fact that you can have root access. So what does root access mean? Now, I'll leave this one open in here. I'll just close some of my other stuff there. Root access. So you can browse by terminal. You can come in here. It does a pop-up. If your pop-ups are blocking your browser, this might not work. Just approve the pop-ups, but this is what it connects like, and this is the backend. It's called Linux. This is the backend. You don't have to remember that username and password, but this is it. So ls list with directory. That's it. We're connected to the backend, and we can add stuff to the backend right now, which is what we'll do very soon. Another thing you can do and you should do is install a program called Putty. Now, depending what operating system you are, it's usually in the applications, or if it's the App Store or the Microsoft Store. I got Windows on here. But we're looking for a program called Putty. Now, the reason we're using Putty is you'll be able to connect to different servers with this. So guys, go look up Putty in here. And it's just a terminal program like this. And there's this one in here, click install. If you're using any other operating system, have that. Obviously, if you have Linux, and you don't have to worry about it. But if you're using a Mac, it will be the same thing, and you'll get that installed in there. The reason we're using Putty is for the copy and paste, because we're going to copy and paste a lot of things. Now, when you copy and paste, or it's one of the plenty reasons, but when you copy and paste stuff, in Putty you can select and you can paste in here. But here you're going to right click and paste, and you're going to see it's going to become a lot easier. So once you open up Putty, it will look something like this. So we hit Putty in here. It opens a little. It's a very basic program. We're using command line in here. So I'm going to hit this in here and copy our IP address. I'm going to paste that in there. I'll say open, and I'll increase the size very soon. And here now, I was going to click that in the background, so it's not the black background on the black background. Open this, make it a bit bigger. Hit some plus buttons. I'm sure, let's just log in quickly first. So the username is going to be root. And our password is going to be this, the one we just saved earlier on. And there we go, logged in. Now, zoom in. How do I zoom in on Putty? It should be in. Right click on here again and change settings, and it brings up a little console like this, and it is going to be appearance. I think, where was it last time? Oh yeah, the font. We're going to use font, and I think 18 was a good one for us to use last time. And there you go, makes it a bit bigger. And that's pretty much how you sign into the backend for it. Like I said, really important step for us. And the reason I like Putty is we can do stuff like this. right click it and it pastes in. So we're going to use this a lot anyway. So the command clear clears our screen, and we can quickly just go over here, but this is your panel for your server. I got 2 in here already. So we'll go through the basics in here. You can go through. This is your AI assistant. It's really cool. Make sure you use it in there for you to help if you don't know where what is. You got your operating system, you got your IP address, firewalls. We have what we have on here. Shut that one in there. And then again, you can change this if you want to change this out to something else. Backup, monitoring, security, your APIs, all the settings in here, everything you need. But for now, we have N8N up. Sweet. We have our terminal background, which is this. And now we're going to start building out some really awesome stuff from it. So that was the setup part of it. Hope that makes sense. I really suggest you get it. Once again, it's really good to have this through Hostinger, because the company works really well. Instant loading of N8N, really good prices, really good servicing. And it's just well worth it. And let's go for the next part right now. So what we're going to use is LightRAG. So LightRAG, we've gone kind of through it a little bit, but it is a RAG system that uses graphing, but this is the open source version of it. Instead of having to pay for any of the expensive hosting ones, it's open source, so you can self host it. Now, all of this sounds very complicated. You read through here and you can see it's really good. It gets updated quite often as well. And they actually have some really good images in here as well about how RAG works. But this is good. Okay, so how do you install it? Don't worry about it. I'm going to go through step by step what we need on how to install it. Don't even have to worry about any of these. Just follow along. We can do this as you wish. Either way, we are going to have this on what's called a Docker system. So your virtual machine sits in the cloud on a real hardware, a real computer somewhere. Have created a virtual machine with a virtual CPU memory and hard drive. Now, a Docker container is very similar thinking about that, but it's it's a software that runs within it. So you'll have your Linux operating system. Now, a Docker is a already set up system that is ready to go. You don't have to go configure it, install it, set it all up. It's a image as such, a Docker image. And to use it, use Docker for it. However, Docker is already installed, because that's how the N8N system works on here. Very complicated, don't overthink about it. Just follow this along. We're going to put LightRAG on here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use this command, and I'll leave the instructions down the bottom with the config files, because the config files is very specific to our setup. Now, we're going to hit this paste in here. All this does is it's going to make a directory in this folder. So sudo's as a super user, we're already root in here, but we're going to make a directory in this folder for us with the enter button. Then we're going to make sure we change the ownerships to it so it can be executed by anyone else that's in here. And then we're going to go into this directory. So 3 very basic Linux commands in here, and I'll leave it up for you so you can see what it is. But this is making a directory, changing the ownership, going into the directory. Now, what we need to do is obviously go get our system and download it. So what we're going to do is, so in this directory here, so there's lots of different ways to install Docker. Like I said, we're going to install a LightRAG. We are going to use the Docker version of it. Else you can go through here and install it a different way, but this is going to be the easiest version. So all we need to do is we are going to create a .environment file in here. So I'll show you what it looks like. So the command we use for this, and this is the text editor version, is nano. I know what that was, and we're going to say .env. That just means it's going to be our environmental files with all our settings in it. So I'm going to hit the enter button in here. Now, I'm going to come back through a little notepad in here, and I'm going to copy and paste the entire file. Oops. I just have my backup one in here that I already made, and we'll go through it really fast because you don't need to worry too much about it. And we're going to have it look something similar to this. So I'll paste it in here so you can see. Hit this paste in here. Now, no, I think I missed something in there. There we go. Let's paste it in. So a couple of things we're going to need. We're going to need our OpenAI API key. But what it's going to say is that this environment is going to listen on this port. We're going to do some port forwarding. If you don't know about ports, don't worry about it. But what we're going to use here is a large language module. Now, if you have done any other RAG things, when it cuts up the chunks, it needs to use a large language module for it. And when it needs to read the chunks back, binding it together, it needs to use a large language module for it. So, of course, we're going to use OpenAI for it. So, at this time, 4.1 is the strongest one for it. So, we can use it in here. So, the reason we're using a good model for it is because it's obviously this very specific case has bigger chunks, so we have a whole massive PDF with lots of data in it. So you need a good large language module. So I'm just going to come in through here. We'll quickly delete this and we'll go get ourselves an OpenAI key. Now, when I did these 3 books, it ended up costing me about $6 to embed it. So just keep that in mind. So platform OpenAI. It's going to sign myself in. And I need to make sure you put some money on here. Like I said, it took me, I had $20 in there, so it was about $6 in for it in here. So API keys, I'm going to create a new API key, and I'm going to say must delete. And I always have LightRAG in here. It's good to have your different projects so you can keep an eye on it. So hit the close button here. I said the copy first, don't close it yet. So, and again, putty, I can just come in here and I can right click and paste it in. It looks a bit weird because it's up and long. So I scroll down again. So large language module to look through things and communicate with it. And our embedding code is in here. Now there's a couple of settings in here that the reason for them is because our chunks and our sizes are going to be a lot bigger because we're going to have a lot of data and a lot of important data. So it makes your RAG system smarter, but it makes it more expensive when you actually do a query. So very technical parts to it. If you're going to use something smaller, copy and paste this over to ChatGPT and just ask about it. And it will tell you who and what it's for. At the moment, you don't have to worry about it. We're just going to use these in here. The sizing is very specific for our PDFs. And the only other thing is when we log in, we are going to log in with this. So our web username and password and API token. So those are always going to be unique. Put your ones in. I'll delete all this later on. But that's all we need. That's file number 1. And we're going to hit Control X. It's going to ask to save it. I'm going to say Y, enter, and it's saved that file. Now, the next file we're going to need is the Docker file. So that means when it downloads the image for us, what image is it going to download? Where is it going to find this preset configuration, preset operating system it's running? And this configuration file is for that. So I'm just going to go again. And then I hit up this one in here. And it's the same thing. I'll just come through in here and I'll copy this. And again, so this one you need to exactly again copy like it is. Oops. Because they're all important in their own way. So in here, I can just left click on it. And all it says is that the container, the system we're going to use is in here. It's called LightRAG. This is where we're going to find it. We're going to do some port forwarding because we're going to forward our ports from 8100 to 800 in here, and this is where it's going to put firing things in. This is where it's going to read its information from, and that's it. Yeah. So, bit technical stuff is Docker related. And the reason we're doing the ports thing is so we don't clash with our N8N server. So again, exit out of this. We're going to hit the Y button to save it. And hit, oh, that was wrong. No, it's that. I wonder why I had created that for us. All right, so we have those two working and ready. Now, depending what operating system we're going to use, you sometimes just need to also allow firewall rules, and these are two settings to allow those ports. Firewall, if you don't know what a firewall is, it just means some things are blocked from the outside coming in by default. Oops, I don't need that. And to allow connection to that port that we have, we need to put in this command that allows us to connect to port 8100. And we're going to hit the copy in here, paste that one in. Oops. Come on. Sometimes my copy and pasting does not go so well. It reloads the firewall for us, or it's not even enabled, so that's okay. And then we're going to start our Docker. So let's go through here. This goes and downloads it. So it's going to take a little while, and I will get back to you once this is done. It should go quite fast because you've got a good service from Hostinger again. It downloads it, puts the operating system on, and it's actually done. All right, and then to see the logs, we're gonna say this in here. We're gonna paste it in here, and bam, we're running. Port 8000 is listening. However, remember we put 8100 in there, so let's see if this works. Hit the Control C in here, and now it's not this in here. It's gonna be the 81000 to it. So we are gonna come from here. We're gonna copy our IP address like this, and when we just move this back, open too many of these now. Move this, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna try connect in here. We also need to say close on this, and I'm gonna say SM here. So let me give this a quick try. And there it loads. So username we used Altus, and our password we used this one in here. That parts will set up in the file, and that is it. Our LightRAG is actually up and running. So the next part is now to start ragging up, processing all our files. So let me go and get the files for us, and it's going to be a drag and drop, really easy in it, and we'll see what it looks like afterwards. Now I actually have them saved in my school group. Lots of cool modules in here, but I have it in here in our marketing course one. And I got a bunch of videos in here, but I got this post in here that I made with all of them in here. So I'll just quickly go and save each of them. So give me a second, let me save them. All right, I've saved all of them. I'm going to come to LightRAG, and I'm going to hit the upload button. And can we select all of them? Oh, there we go. 1, 2, 3, and hit the open button. Now, while we're doing this, it will download it, and what we can do is also hit this in here. So our same command from earlier on. Oh, why is it not like this? Something's not afoot in here. Might just be because we're uploading something. So let's give it a second to upload. All right, just upload it. So it's up in here. It says pending processing. If you get any errors, you can just come back in here and remember the command we had in here. Like I pass it. There you go. Docker compose logs -f gives us a little rundown of what's actually happened in the background, and you can see how it's saving and editing, cutting it all up. And if you have any errors, this is where it will be. So what we have to do is copy and paste those, put it in GPT and ask it, and it will show you how and where you can get all this. Now, where can you get all this configuration files? So these are still going to go for a while. So while we're doing all this, I just want to remind you of a couple of cool things. Obviously, we are going to have the school group in here. Make sure you go check it out. This is the paid version. When you come to the paid version, there's going to be a bunch of cool, awesome things like go high level. It's awesome. It's free. I'll give you unlimited free accounts. But make sure you come check it out because there's awesome stuff in the classroom like that. Bunch of high level stuff. Everyone's selling voice AI and we're all doing really well with it. Bunch of voice AI systems in here and a bunch of N8N stuff and make stuff, email stuff, chatbot stuff, vibe coding stuff, scraping stuff, and a whole sales and marketing thing. We actually went and bought a massive sales and marketing course. So I'll leave all the config files there to download. And then there is also the free resource group, which is pretty cool. It also contains a bunch of normal updates, giving you extra stuff, funnels, N8Ns, lots of cool stuff to download. So really worth going to check out. So I am gonna leave this to it. Now this is gonna cut it up, it's gonna chunk it, and this is gonna take some time to do. I said this cost me about $6 for it, and we will come back in a while. So yeah, so it's gonna go through. Obviously the one was a lot bigger in size. So they're decent sizes as well. So it will take a little while for it. Okay, so after a little while, you'll be done. It will show completed. Green it means we're happy to go. And like I said, if you have any errors, just copy and paste those errors into ChatGPT. Tell it what you have. Tell it to come up with some suggestions. The first time I did it, I had some problems in here as well. But if you follow this straight up, you'll be good. But it shows you at the time, obviously. This is how long it's uploaded. You can see it's about 10 minutes each to put it into chunks. Especially was a lot bigger, so it made a lot more chunks within it. Okay. What I would say is make sure you go rename all of these files. I just actually uploaded the files like it is. Should have renamed them into the box, and I'll show you what I mean really soon. But once you're done, you'll be presented with something that kind of looks like this. So you come to knowledge graph. Now, if you don't see anything at the start, make sure you hit the refresh button in here. Let's move my face out the way here for a second. Make sure you hit the refresh button in here, and I'll just move it again for a second. We can zoom this into the middle. If you don't see anything as well, make sure you zoom out, zoom back in. And it's always good when it does it at the start, it puts it all over the universe that we have here. And if you click this button in here, you click circular, it will kind of zoom it in like this, or circular pack, it will do it in like that. So circular just means it staples it up together. But in here, it's a little bit more seeable, and you can see then how things are linked out together. Actually, one of the Grand Slam offer in here, and see how you drag it out. You can see it's all linked into, well, a lot of things are going to be linked to Alex, but Grand Slam offer is linked to Alex, but Grand Slam offer is also, and it shows it here on the side. Move my face out the way again for a reason. When we click at the Grand Slam offer, you can see that it will know what the Grand Slam offer is, but it will also know that the Grand Slam offer is linked to all these other things in here. So we got $100 million offers that it comes in from, but it's part of the performance model. It talks about it as an action offer. So it's got the relations, it's got the properties where it's come from. So the book, so that's what I mean. You should have rename your sources properly so it's named after the book. Because, so when you go to retrieval in here, if I say, in what book source is the Grand, so just in the bottom there, Grand Slam offer mentioned in, you're going to see it will be able to drag it out and we'll go rag and retrieve it for us. and it should give us the weird name in here. So this would be this is annoying, but it is smart enough to tell you it's from $100 million offers. Yeah, all right. So, but so I can say things like uh um how would the Grand Slam offer be related to an attraction offer? And I should spell those right as well. Attraction offer. Which it's kind of not, but we'll figure out what the different things are and gives us a bit of an answer. And a definite brand offer to attraction offer. It knows what it is. It knows where it comes from, and so you select the value, talks what comes into from $100 million leads. Yeah. All right. So just have a think about all these. Okay. So it works. It's ragging up for us really well. And if you want to start now, the reason I'm going to use this is to build a bit of a dashboard for it. So we'll be able to refer to this backwards and forwards, give it some information. For example, let's say I have a school group that I offer free high level access to the group as $97 per month. Create a Grand Slam offer for me. So it's going to be hard. I should ask it for more questions for it, but let's see what it says. And give me an attraction offer that I can write. So put it in there. Now we're going to smash this through an N8N. You'll see how easy it is in N8N. And it actually just went without getting a chance for it. But this is your log file. Yeah. So I should actually see what this is all about, but that doesn't matter. We'll hit the Control C, and here it's fitted to our large language module, and right here it goes. I'm not going to read it all out, but it knows what the Grand Slam offer is, knows what the retraction offer is, so it can bring it all together for us. Nice, easy, done. Now, how do we add this all into an N8N module? Because it's on our device, it's going to be easy, and I'll show you. It's just going to be an HTTP request, and we create it kind of like this. So make sure you come into N8N. And my head can stay down there for a second. So actually, really first, what we need to do is bring back your little notepad thing in here. Then we're going to go back to LightRAG. There's API accesses in here. You're going to create an authentication token in here, and you can just give it any value you want. YouTube API token. All right, and then we'll copy that, authorize that, and I'm just going to keep it here safe for a second, just off here on the side. API token. And we're going to head back to N8N. Let me just double check that. Close that. We have that in there. So that's all good. So we're going to come back in here. Actually, what I just remembered is we did do that API key. So these two need to match. This is important. Okay. So remember when we came and did the .env file? Was it in this file? And we had this API token in here. That's the one we need. It needs to match up. So I'm going to come back through in here. I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to come back and lock this out here. I'm going to add that one in here. Say authorizing that, close that one. Then I'm going to come back through in here. Now, let's just quickly test it out. So we're going to paste this make sure you update your little nodes. It's going to be a manual node, and we're going to make an HTTP request. Now, I will give you this as well down the notes. It's going to be import, and I'll go find my copy that I have. And it's going to be very similar to most of your things we have. We are doing an HTTP request to our server. It's going to be in the query part of it. Your API token is going to be the new one that we selected. The same one that we have. Please remember to have that. The same one in there. And it's not going to be authorization. It's going to be XAPI. And what we do is you put your query in the motors mix. Okay. So let's hit that one in there. And there you go. Really fast. So it's a post request to the server. In our headers, we authenticate with X API key. That is it. And our query is going to be in that and that and that. So that kind of works. So it's going to come back in here and make sure I copy that. Now we can add this into anything. So the easiest part is going to be the web chat. Obviously, you can now build this out with HTTP requests, with webhooks, but let's just do it with normal chat trigger. Chat. Hi. I always do this at the start. Move that over, and of course we are going to need our API key again for OpenAI because this is new, but AI agent. Let hit that one in there, let that load. That's going to save my cool request. We are gonna go back in here. I don't even know if we can copy all of this. Should have saved. And there we go. So need my API key to add our model in OpenAI. Hopefully this works. Save. No, it doesn't like that. What did I do wrong? Sometimes there's a space in the end. There's this whole one in here. Test this again. Else I will just it only copies a short part. Retry. Delete that one. I'm gonna have to go get the whole one. This is what you wanna what happens when you try to take shortcuts. No, it's not gonna like it. I expanded the window. And we'll try again. Sorry for this. I apologize. Retry. Done. Add that in there. Close. Come on. Hit that. Saved. Done. And there. You can use mini if you want. Memory. Done. Hi. That works. Add an HTTP request. We're going to come back and that curl request that we have, I'm going to copy in here. We're going to go import from curl, paste that one in there, import that. Oh, goodness. Does not like the curl command. My goodness, my copy and pasting is horrendous at the moment. It's because the JSON format would be wrong, I think. There we go. I need to fix the API key for it. That goes in there, and we are gonna, our query is just gonna be found by AI, and this is gonna be knowledge base to find all information from here. So I just need to tell it what it's a little bit about. Add that one in here. Let's make this a bit better so you can actually see. Have this in, have that in there, have this in here. And we also need to say that I'm just rushing over this because I'm assuming you know this by now, but we are going to say you can use the HTTP request tool to find the knowledge base and ask the system questions. At that, so I say hello again. And sweet, that is it. So let's ask it about what is a downsell offer? Sell offer according to knowledge base. And let's zoom in a little bit so you can see better. That one there. This can be zoomed out. And put that there. And let's see if this actually works. And there we go. It's doing its search. And that's pretty much it. Well, hopefully this works. Comes back with a couple of bits of information, retrieves it, and you can always bring all these back and you can see where it comes back with. Obviously, it comes back information and sends it up in there, fixes it up, retrieval, augmentative, and here it comes, downsell offer, payment plans, straight at the book. Right, so that is pretty much it. Then, like I said, this is really good because all of this traffic now, if you use any other VPS service, you're going to remember you're going to do traffic in and out and you're going to pay for more. If it depends on what plans you're on, other ones. But this is all locally hosted. Your service is all secured and within this one VPS model. Hostinger is really good at it. The fact that you get N8N loaded up already and we don't have to go configure it. And yeah, that's just all works. And like I say, I prefer this more, especially when you're going to have different things out in it and you can really go and explore it. Like I said, it's going to be massive because we bought in for a lot of books in for it. But hope that makes sense. Hope it works out. I hope that's something you're interested in. I hope you feel that you've learned something from it today, even if it's just getting in really easy. But it's a easier system to do. Like I say, so the downsides from this is, and if you're gonna sell AI automations anyway, is that every client is gonna need their own service or server anyway. So therefore, all the information within here belongs to them. If you're gonna build this out for yourself and you have your own system within, um, everything you load up in here is going to start linking up. So just keep that in mind. Keep it in mind, okay? So yes, we can add another Docker container on here with another LightRAG system on another port on it, which makes it really beautiful. The power of VPSs and Linux and so on. So make sure you like this, make sure you follow this, make sure you subscribe. If you find this interesting, please let me know. And thanks for watching this far. And obviously, if you have a second, go join those school groups, post things like this, give you some free stuff, and even come just go get some go high level stuff, which is really fun and cool. So talk to you all later. Have a great, fantastic day, and let's keep building cool AI stuff like this.